teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a few community post updates we've had just recently. Some of these came up after I posted my last react, and we're just going to talk in general about Chantal telling on herself. So we might look a little bit more in detail at the awful Skit videos. My God. I did mention this in brief, so we won't spend too long on it, but I woke up and Chantal was raging. Must be Saturday. But community posts are the windows to her newly invigorated soul, so let's take a look at what's been going on since I was last with you. Now we're going to start with a post we got about a day ago. I think nobody was asking for clarification, but just in case, Chantal would put up a post explaining what all the channels are over the Foodieverse. She did, of course, let us know that our support is appreciated. She would like us to subscribe to all channels. But it's interesting to note she mentioned live streaming, which she had doubled down on the fact that she was never coming back to. She hasn't come back to it yet, but I've got a feeling it's coming. So channel number one, my channel, Chantal, this one, lol. She's actually changed her name now to The Chantal Show, which is a name we haven't seen for quite a while. She did use it briefly a while back when she was trying to transition from mukbangs into vlogs, but it has been a very long time. So she says, this one remains beezing territory. I have decided I will probably do at least one live stream a week, which mere hours before this, she had said she's never going back, to be announced. We will see. I'm sure she will live stream again. Whether it's a good idea or not, it's a whole nother story, but it's easily her best money maker in terms of views and interaction. So yeah, I think she'll have to come back to it. Skits and bad singing and songs, oh, what a time to be alive. Vlogs and talking videos, vlogs about my Ramadan and day in the life videos coming behind on editing, sorry. Ramadan is only on for about another week now. We did get announcements here in Oman saying that our holiday starts next Thursday, so it's not much longer. But what are you behind on? Really? You've got no other job. You get locked in the house for many hours a day. What are you doing except this? We have had on her third channel, it's technically Salah's second channel, I suppose, the Relax Area ASMR. She has put out a couple more, I think it's driving videos and a beach video, something she recorded this time, which I haven't watched and I'm not about to watch. Because even for me as a reactor, I don't feel like there's any value there for me. We've also got Salah and Chantal, which will have couple vlogs. Joy! Travel, May 2023, inshallah. Well, inshallah, because, you know, your tourist visa is running out. So I'm guessing, yes, in May you're going to be traveling somewhere, whether you can afford to or not. KSA, Singapore or Thailand. Those are all places I'm guessing have reasonable flight costs because I was looking to travel this summer. There's a website you can use called Flight Connections, and it will show you all the direct flights from any set airport. And there is one, I believe, to Singapore because I was considering going there. Same for Thailand, and KSA is a very short jump. But it would shock me if she did not travel in May because legally speaking, she has to. Vlogs at more places in Kuwait. I think she's going to struggle with that. The fact is, without being mean, the places you can go aren't that varied. So once you've seen one of a certain type, you've basically seen it all. There are some beautiful natural spots out in the deserts. In Oman, there's a ton of wadis, which are like the sinkholes, and they can really be beautiful if you go hiking there and things. But it's not something she's going to do. So it's not going to be there for the majesty of nature, you know, and not to rag on Kuwait at all, but I don't believe it's known locally for the natural beauty. And she's also trying to shill Salah's gaming channel, which doesn't seem to have much content on it. We're all welcome, but, you know, keep it respectful. So that was a day ago, and, you know, that's sort of where Chantal was. Definitely doesn't care about views. She's got a man now, but please also subscribe to 4 of my channels. So imagine our collective shock as a community when we get a rage against Just Breezing in the community post, because she's a positive channel now. She was ignoring all this drama. She was giving up live streams, despite the fact that they will be back, because it helped her to control her impulsivity in these moments. And this is actually an example of exactly why that will fail, and probably why live streams, although personally they're not a good idea for her, are the best idea for her financially. Not only do they get the views, if she's going to be impulsive, might as well get paid. You don't get paid for community tab rants. It allows her to be as impulsive as she wants to be, which is not a good thing, but she doesn't get paid for it, so why not just rant online? We'll go through this community post tab, but I do feel like she's just telling on herself again. I really do. And this is the problem with all the stories she tells on her channel, and this goes back to way back when with her story times. It goes back to these 2 skits she's put up so far, and it's in this community post as well. Whenever she starts insulting, or whenever she starts presenting stories that are, you know, either definitely true, you guys, or even if they're completely made up, it shows a window into her thinking, and it always reveals more than she wants to. So when we start looking at some of the insults she throws here, it really reveals the things that she would be insulted by, which is true of most people. When they get angry and they throw insults, they're doing it because they think it will hurt, because it would hurt them in reverse. And that's why, if you remember way back when she used to tell the TMI stories, and she was always like insulting the smell of women's private parts, because I think that's something she's always been insecure about. So she had that story where her friend was in the car, and apparently the dad said to the mom, was it? Oh, it smells like a tuna cannery in here, and things like that. It's all working on her own stuff. And I think part of it is connected to, you know how she's so insulting of mothers all the time because mothers should be held to a higher moral ground than everybody else. And I think it's just because of her mixed relationship with her own mother. Like, yes, they're okay now, and you know, you overcome a lot in your relationships to have family, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But the fact is, she didn't have an easy relationship with her mother in her teens. She seems like she had a very difficult experience, and that's not necessarily me being sympathetic. She seems very hard to handle, is what I'm really saying there. And I think people do the best they can in a situation, and her mum couldn't handle it, so Chantal ended up going into that group home after she faked suicide. So I think her relationship with her mom, even though it's improved now as an adult, the reason she insults so many people about motherhood is because of that. It's because she's still got a lot of underlying issues with that. I think those experiences with her mom hurt, and they continue to hurt, and she insults because it would hurt her. Now, the skits she's been putting out show different things. The Awful Waffle skit, you had someone who didn't want to work a regular 9-to-5 job being heinous to people for the sake of internet notoriety because they thought they could make more money and have more influence. I wonder where the inspiration for that came from. And then in the second one with the Burger King, the No More Nashies, she's presenting herself, but she's put things in to bait reactors because she likes to say, oh, you know, I don't care, I don't need you. But she also likes to take the most extreme takes from the community and hold them up as reasons why no one in the community should be listened to. If this one thing is ridiculous, then everything else should be dismissed. And it's just a manipulation tactic. So when she's drawing like a dead bunny on her wheel, she knows what she's doing. She's drawing on it so people will be outraged, so she can talk about how ridiculous the outrage is, because she actually wants to have the argument about BBJ again. But anyway, I've gotten distracted. Let's get on to the community post. It is so sad, Boozin. You are reducing your already low self to reading obvious childish lies from the internet about Salah's company. FYI, people found a picture. I will find the picture and put it up. Sorry, I should have mentioned this in the beginning. The Beezer spray that she said she had developed and was like a joke for her Beezers was found in a discount store in Kuwait. We have stores like that here. There's like Real World and stuff where everything in the store is like between 300 Besa and a Real and a half. And so a lot of the sprays you get there, it's that kind of quality stuff. She uses the phrase dollar store, which will be a point of contention, but it's that level of thing, like Five Below, that kind of stuff. Who cares what market his products are sold in? Okay, so is it a lie that it's Salah's company, or should we not care that it's sold there? At least he has something of his own. At least it's an honest living. Now, I want to point that out because it connects to something else she says later, speaking about telling on herself. I'm not arguing that. Like, those stores have to be stocked by someone. It's always like dupe brands, you know, like off-brand, but kind of the same thing. But there are a ton of those stores all over the country, and stocking them would not be a bad living. I don't think anyone's blaming Salah for earning coin. Like, the company, I'm sure, does fine. But it's all to do with how she's presented his money and their financial situation online. The fact that she's walking around just buying phones, supposedly brand new, and then discarding them after a week because the filters aren't good enough for her, and changing them over. And that kind of money that you spend on those kinds of items are considered purchases. You don't get to pretend you're living like a baller while living in a shoebox and then get angry at people because they're discussing the finances that you brought up and you continue to present. Also, just the other day, weren't you moron reactors claiming his business is a scam and he doesn't sell in stores? So which one is it? Is it a storeless scam, or is he selling in a cheap store? I mean, both can be true, but we go on the evidence we have at any particular time. So if we're wrong, or if that story changes, it's because new stuff comes to light. It doesn't mean anyone was making stuff up earlier. It just means, hey, the evidence we had changed. You know what we find pathetic? Are we using the royal we now, Foodie, or do you need Salah behind you for backup? Did he come back? Did he unlock the door? That you have to earn your income reaching like the child you are, and bullying to buy ice cream for your poor child who has a morally defective mother to raise her. I don't think your glass house is strong enough to be able to criticize other people's mothers, and considering the most attention you get online is for rages like this, maybe bullying is also not a good area for you. You are getting desperate for content. Oh, well, the mirror, Foodie. I know, but please get a life. Go start a company. Why make fun of dollar store? It's not dollars here, by the way. Now, I will actually admit, at one point when I was talking about the Kuwaiti dinar, I think I did say dollars. Like, that was a mistake that I made. I didn't think they were dollars. I was just using a currency that popped up into my head. But when we talk about exchange rates and what things are worth and stuff, just remember that Foodie sat here going, oh, the cost is only this many, so my money's going to go so much further here with the strongest currency in the world. She doesn't even have a basic understanding about how exchange rates and value are connected, which is not even true. So your dumb reactions are lies as usual. Now, Foodie's punctuation and the way she writes sentences doesn't always lend itself to an easy read. So it took me a second to realize she'd switched topics here a little bit. So apologies if it sounds weird as I'm reading it. So, which is not even true. So your dumb reactions are lies as usual. When you don't even have good enough credit to get an apartment for yourself and your daughter. So maybe check your own pathetic situation before judging others. Maybe be super careful that mirror doesn't smash into your face. Maybe that. Because I'm sorry, but you have been bankrupt twice. You needed Pete to be able to get onto your lease. And then you left him in the lurch with that lease and the charges for the areas that you damaged. So let's be super careful the kind of shit we're throwing at other people. Make sure your hands are covered and clean. Now, clearly the season of Ramadan and forgiveness and personal reflection is strong and going well here. But, you know, check your own pathetic situation before judging others is maybe a phrase you could incorporate into your life. Because it's certainly something I would consider doing before throwing these particular insults around. Even if some of the products, which are meant to be affordable, are sold for 2.5 KD, that's $11 Canadian, which is not $1. Oh, good job, you know numbers. Can you learn before you open your mouth? Says the woman who literally can't manage her own finances and doesn't understand how exchange rates work. Yeah, it's not $1. It's more than $1, but it's still an affordable range. Is that a problem? No, it's not. He clearly has enough of a distribution setup that he's able to keep a roof over his head, which a lot of people are not so fortunate as to be able to do. For example, if Foodie lost the income she has on this channel, she would be entirely reliant on him doing that for her. So I understand her appreciation of it. I wouldn't necessarily leave myself in so precarious a situation on such little enticement as what I believed his feelings were for me, but that's a whole nother story. But the reason we're getting the community rage tab is because she's a little bit sensitive about certain issues, which is why these things come up again and again and again. She throws it out because it pokes at sensitive places in her. She cares about how she is viewed financially. She had a long time where she was bringing in a lot of money. So this idea that no doubt she'd seen through certain venues on Instagram that, oh, I'm married to my Middle Eastern husband and he spoils me because that's what they do to Middle Eastern wives, which you see a lot of, like, oh, I'm living in Dubai and this Middle Eastern prince has just sent me flowers and jewelry, that kind of thing. That's the life she really wants to portray, and she gets angry when people poke holes in it. And speaking of anger over things that are true, the next post, I need Go World to stay relevant? Yes. And what will you talk about? No, it's a symbiotic relationship, I completely agree. Then why are you all desperately reaching and making up lies to stay relevant yourself? We all talk about her. If you run a Chantal reaction channel, as I do, you need Chantal to run that channel. When she doesn't show up, I say when, like she's ever actually going to stop. If she doesn't show up, then I would have to either change the content of my channel or I would have to stop. They are connected. It is a fact of life that I will not deny. But yes, you absolutely need reactors to stay relevant because they help to maintain your community. Not in a way you want it to, but they do. Because we go a long way into making your shit entertaining. Please make me irrelevant. I would love it. Well, you haven't been loving it so far. How are the 4 channels doing? I don't need or want your hate views. I'm sure she doesn't want the hate views, but she very much does need them if she's going to maintain the level of income I'm guessing she led Salah to believe they could expect. Now, I am just going to check her channel really quick because as I went to turn on this video, she actually deleted these community posts. It was quite recent. I woke up at about 8:30 and the posts were already up and had been for a little while. Oh, she's got another video up on her channel. Answering more questions, part 2. Oh, is it even worth looking at? All right, I might make another video, but I'll take a look, and if there's anything relevant, we'll talk about it. But last time she did a Q&A, because her answers were so much fake influencer Chantal, there was no point discussing it. You just couldn't. But let me just go to the community tab. There's nothing new up on the community tab. So she put up these rages, she then deleted these rages, and she put up her pre-recorded Q&A, which I will go and watch. All right, everyone, and that's where we are, and I will, I'm sure, see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.